Welcome to the Elevate podcast, brought to you by the Registered Master Builders. Each week we explore the ideas and practices that help us get the best from our businesses, our teams and ourselves. I'm your host, Ryan Castle. We talk to experts, advocates and business owners in the construction industry to share their knowledge, insights and experiences to help you build a better business and enjoy a better life. Now let the business building begin.
Ankit, hey, great to have you on the Elevate Master Builders podcast yet again for our Chiefs Chat session. Looking forward to a bit of an update from you. We're into 2025. It feels like maybe there's just a bit of a shift in optimism and things moving in a more positive direction. Interested in your kind of thoughts on that as a place to start today.
Well, great to be on your podcast, Ryan. Thank you for having me. I agree. I think there are signs of optimism in 2025. The low mortgage rates and reduction in official cash rates, they are slowly boosting confidence. We are seeing more inquiries for building projects. These inquiries are also now slowly converting into sales, which is a good sign. And the reason I am optimistic about 2025 is because of some combination of factors. The housing prices have stabilized. Building cost inflation is at record low levels in New Zealand at the moment, making construction costs steady. So it will give consumers more certainty when they're taking on a new project. Mortgage rates are expected to come down and probably reduce over the next 3 to 6 months. And business and consumer confidence is also slowly improving. So all these signs point to a recovery in the sector. And I'm hoping as the year progresses, we'll start seeing more positivity.
Okay. And we're seeing some of those macro things that you talk about, like potential reduction in interest rates, etc. What are you hearing from the team on the ground around the master builders community? Are they also sensing a bit of a change in the temperature?
Yes. So I think late last year, around Q3, Q4, we started hearing about more inquiries, but those inquiries were not converting into sales. And I think this year, what we are hearing is they're slowly converting into sales. And I think it's just it's how kind of the market works. You know, people are slowly getting their confidence back. As they're getting confidence back, they're committing to projects. I still think some people are holding out. They still think the market may not have reached the bottom, or they're waiting for interest rates to come down. But we're probably seeing that turning as well. So hopefully all of this is kind of pointing to slow and steady recovery, which will be good for the industry.
Yeah, this is very much a personal opinion, but I feel like that many New Zealanders have so much of their wealth and equity locked into their home that rather than sell at some bottom rate, they're prepared to hold and wait until things come back a bit. And my sense is that it's stabilising a bit around those prices, and there's some people coming back to the market. So yeah, some good signs happening. Ankit, when you think about the types of building that are going on in New Zealand, you know, we have members in the master builders community that go from very large scale commercial down to the sort of backyard project, if I could term them that way. Are you seeing any particular zone or type of building changing?
We are seeing multi-unit homes. They're probably a big rise. I think it was a rise of 14%, whereas I think currently standalone homes are dipping slightly. So there's probably a more trend towards multi-unit home development. And there are generally 3 factors which are driving the shift towards multi-unit homes. One is affordability. So standalone houses need larger sections. They are generally more expensive to build. Multi-units are more affordable, hence more accessible for first-home buyers. Lifestyle changes, and I think that's quite a big driver. More people want to live closer to city centers, transport and amenities. Modern living trends favor compact, low-maintenance homes. And I think the third is government policy. So the government is focusing on addressing both housing affordability and housing deficit challenges. More homes on the same land reduces cost per unit, also reduces stress on infrastructure, making housing more affordable. Hence, government policies are also making it easier and faster to build multi-unit development. So we probably see this increase in multi-unit trend to continue.
And I wonder if there's some societal trends occurring there as well. We've got a aging population who are maybe less inclined to live in the big family home with the grounds that need lots of effort. And then I think there's in our younger generations also people that are like, they don't want to spend their weekends again, maintaining the house or doing things. They want a really warm, comfortable abode, but they like to be out and about and doing things. So it feels like
absolutely. And I've met a lot of young people recently who just exactly said that. They want low maintenance. They don't want to spend their time doing gardens. They're actually embedding more into the urban lifestyle. So I think it's a demographic shift happening also, along with affordability and accessibility of multi-unit homes.
Okay. You mentioned earlier the potential change in official cash rate, and I assume your crystal ball is operating perfectly, so we know exactly how much that's going to be and when, Ankit, is that right?
Yes.
Yes, good answer.
I think the cash rate will probably continue to reduce for a period of time because we've come out of a period of quite serious inflation, which has now become a period of quite significant recession. And a lot of industries are struggling, not just building and construction, but it's extremely important for building and construction for the official cash rate to come down. Normally, driven by probably multiple levels. So I think the biggest impact is lower borrowing costs. So as interest rates on business loans and mortgages come down, it makes it cheaper for developers to finance new projects. So that gets more new projects into the market. It also increases buyer confidence. We've talked about it. Low mortgage rate makes homeownership more affordable. We're already seeing that more buyers are kind of returning back into the market, and it's slowly increasing the demand for new builds. And all of this drives more construction activity. We're also seeing some, as the financing costs are easing, projects which were on hold are starting to move forward. And developers are also feeling more confident. So lower interest rates, in my view, they improve affordability, they drive confidence in the economy, and they also drive more activity. And all of that is what we need to kind of get the confidence and momentum back in the construction sector.
Yeah. And isn't it fascinating how much our sense of norm gets adjusted over time? It wasn't that long ago that 8, 9, 10% interest rates seemed fine. My parents talk about times when they were in the 20% zone. We got very used to them being in the very low single figures for a period, and that just became our norm. Feels like it's coming back to a more sustainable time now, but interesting how our realities adjust to what we get used to.
Exactly.
Okay. As we see hopefully this positive shift and we see more demand in market, more access to supply of things like land because they can access low interest rates, etc., as you just talked to, what should be some of the things that our members are thinking about from their business perspective, how they run their companies, how they run their operations, how they prepare their teams, etc., for hopefully good times ahead?
I think the biggest challenge for our sector, probably not just our sector, actually all the sectors this year, will be financial resilience. And so for building and construction, we are not out of the woods yet. Many businesses are still facing financial pressure. I think things are easing, but they're probably not easing as fast as we would like them to. So builders need to stay focused on cash flow, margins, and financial health. I think it's extremely important to get good financial advice because that's critical to navigate uncertainty. So if you've got challenges, you got concerns, it's important to go out and get really good financial advice. And I think you're right. Also looking at operations. So what we are finding is that building costs have stabilized, but the market is very competitive. So it's actually putting a lot of focus on margins. So the margins are also very tight. So builders need to manage their costs very tightly to remain competitive. And I think that cost pressure will stay for a period of time. I think across a lot of sectors, definitely for our sector, financial health is probably an area we need to really mature. And it continues to be a very strong focus for master builders. So one of the most exciting initiatives we are launching this year is our voluntary financial rating program, which we are developing in partnership with CreditWorks. So this program will allow builders to showcase their financial strength to clients, suppliers, and lenders. And I think it will provide competitive edge in what we will see a recovering and very competitive market. And more details on this exciting initiatives are coming very soon. So we'll keep our members posted. So I think in summary, financial resilience is very key, and how you run your business, how you manage your costs will continue to be an important thing for businesses to look at, this year and probably next year as well.
Indeed. And I think being able to package all those things up and market with the strength of the Master Builders brand, being able to use the guarantee system the Master Builders has, being able to have the credit works, I don't know, that's going to be a stamp of approval or whatever, becomes some kind of rating. But when you start stacking all these things up in market, if you're in a competitive bid for a project out in market, I mean, they're three really, really fantastic things to be able to put in front of a potential client. That's a great initiative. Ankit, I know you and I, webizations and how that works. You made me think about the importance of focusing on your strengths as a leader. And for many of us, maybe finance and accounting, cash flow modeling, these things are not what we love to do, and maybe not our strength. So I think that's also great guidance to add people to your team. And there are so many options of how you add people to your team now. You don't have to go and hire a full-time person. We ourselves work with like virtual CFOs, so someone who's got very high-level financial knowledge for us, but we just access them a few hours a week for the kind of pieces that we need. So I think our members thinking about how they might be able to strengthen their team and their bench heading into this market by using some of those other ways of accessing people and accessing skills is a good way to go. What would be your thoughts on that topic? Yeah,
I think that's a very good point. So I think the important point is to make sure you're getting good financial advice and you've got people looking into that. And some builders will probably have that skill sets within their family, within their staff. It's fantastic, but you don't have to go and hire people. You're absolutely right. There are a lot of really good accounting firms out there. There are a lot of people you can go in and get some advice. And for our members who are looking for some of this advice and don't know where to go, how to start, reach out to us. We've got good connections. We know good accounting firms, but it's about help is out there. It's actually reaching out and asking, acknowledging that financial health is important, and then making sure there are people out there providing you the right guidance and support and information.
Yeah. And executing some of those business operations. I was actually talking to someone in the industry earlier today. They really provide a service that's around connecting tradespeople with homeowners, and they have a 70% close rate on the projects that they bid for, and they understand that the normal close rate in the industry is below 20%. And a lot of it is just because they have a very strong system and follow-up, staying in contact with prospects, converting those sales. So there's lots of areas of the business to improve operations and make for a more profitable business outside of just purely the construction component. Yeah. Okay. Good advice. I like that. Okay. We feel like we talk about this almost every month, and that's how much progress is being made from a government perspective, both our core government and local governments around easing the red tape, making it a simpler and faster process for our members to get construction done. What updates do you have for us on that, Enzo?
I think the two initiatives which are very promising are the building consenting reform and the self-consenting. So both of them, government made big announcements last year. So we are hoping to see some progress this year. The building consenting reform is quite an important one for us because we want to speed up projects, we want to reduce costs, and we want to provide certainty to developers, builders, and homeowners. Our current system has got both consistency issues and efficiency issues. Consistency issues, we've talked about it. We've got one national building code, but we have 67 different building consenting authorities, all interpreting that code in a slightly different way. We've also heard that a lot of our members have to deal with multiple BCAs, and they report significant delays and costs due to inconsistencies. There are even cases where same builder is experiencing different interpretation from inspectors within the same BCA. So the standardizing of the consenting process will help reduce delays and cut costs. I think that's important. I think the big one for New Zealand, which we need to solve, is efficiency. So joint and several liability is currently forcing councils to be overly cautious, and it creates inefficiencies. And what we need in New Zealand is a system which is fair and more efficient. And right now, councils and ultimately ratepayers, they bear the burden of any significant building failures, which I think is neither fair or nor efficient. So what we believe is that exploring alternative solutions, including industry-led approaches, can help create a more balanced and efficient system. So the BCA reform is probably an area we'll work very closely with government to see if we can find ways to speed up, reduce the red tape, and drive more efficiencies. I think the second area where we'll probably spend some time and we would like to see some progress is self-certification. So currently, we have a system where we apply a one-size-fits-all approach, where we will treat simple, low-risk homes the same way as complex, high-risk projects, which drives up cost and create delays. We probably need a mechanism where licensed building practitioners in good standing should be able to self-certify simple, low-risk homes. This would free up council resources to focus on high-risk projects. Sounds very logical. You want to focus less on low risk, so you can focus more on high risk. But if you do that well, you improve your focus on quality, and you also drive efficiencies. I think self-consenting system, if it's implemented correctly, it will incentivize good performance. It will raise industry standards. It'll probably lead to better outcomes for homeowners and drive more productivity and efficiency in the construction sector. So these are probably the two areas we think have a potential to drive quite a significant positive change for our sector. And we'll continue working very closely with the government to make sure we see progress in both of these areas.
And are there any tangible milestones that we know are ahead of us in those two initiatives?
I think the tangible milestones would be getting to a stage where there's a cohesive thinking around, if you do a building consenting reform, what would that look like? So it's complex because we need to get the national government, we need to get the local government, we also need to get the industry to kind of align with the views. So I think a lot of conversations are happening. So one is to get us all on the same page. Once you get everybody on the same page, then it becomes easier to kind of lead the pathway. So I think that will be the challenge for the consenting reforms. There are multiple parties with multiple interests to get us all on the same page. So we're doing that. For the self-certification, the current Building Act allows ability to actually look at low-risk homes slightly differently to the high-risk projects. So we already started working with some councils to say we don't need to change anything. Actually, in the current Act, we have the ability to do that. So can we pilot some projects to convince ourselves, the councils, that this is actually a better way of working? So those pilots, early stages of conversations, if they lead into becoming successful, then we'll create pathways for driving some positive change across both of these areas.
They are big items to manage, and I'm also aware, as I'm sure you are, Ankit, of a lot of the work being done in the Resource Management Act, which actually has a lot of impact to our construction sector as well. There is some really good work going on in the app. They're really trying to simplify it and make it a whole lot more usable as a piece of legislation. So there are some really big grunty things that are going on that I think will really help the sector. They're not going to happen overnight, as we know, but yeah, sounds like there's some good progress. So thank you for the updates on those. Okay, how long has it been now that you've been in interim or CEO role at Master Builders? What's the timeline now?
9 months.
9 months. There we go. So it's the appropriate period. I'm interested in what are some of your observations, maybe ones that we haven't talked about today, as you had an opportunity to meet with the team. You're making some adjustments internally with the team, trying to make the organization itself more effective and efficient. You've had a chance to connect with some of the members out there in the big wide world. Interested in just some of the things that are like top of mind for you, what your observations 9 months in.
Well, I think one of my observation, which is I think was quite good to get to this observation, is understanding the power of community. So with Master Builders, I think about Master Builders. We've got Master Builders spread across the country. They're very passionate. And when I go to branches across the country, the amount of passion the execs on the branches and the Master Builders have to kind of work together to support one another is I think something which is very unique. So one of the big things I've been working on with my team is how do we empower and enable this power of community? So internally, we call it grassroots, to say we don't want to sit in our offices in Wellington and make decisions for the sector. We're actually very privileged to have very engaged membership base, 23 branches. So how do we empower our members, our branches to have very strong grassroots campaign to make sure or at a local, regional level, we're providing the right support, the right services to help our members to be as successful as they can be. So I think that's kind of a big focus for us. And the best way to kind of share this example is when we run our constructive conference nationally. We run it either in Wellington or Auckland. We probably get 400 or 500 people attending the conference. And I was saying to my team, well, that's not actually connecting back to our membership base, which is significantly larger, distributed across the country. So this year we are running, I think, over 7 constructive summits regionally.
Oh, I love that.
We are running that summit, and every summit has got strong regional flavor. So when we are having a conversation in Auckland versus in Christchurch or bottom of South Island, we are talking about things which are very important for our master builders in those regions. We are having the right conversations. And I think that's quite a strong grassroots drive driven by me and the team is how do we empower our members? How do we enable this grassroots campaign? Because I think that's the power of master builders. And I'm very confident as we start doing more of this grassroots stuff, we'll provide more relevant information, relevant support to kind of take the organization forward and help our members run successful businesses.
I love that. And it's so good to hear that. I think a number of the members listening will be delighted to hear those kind of initiatives and understanding of the, that power of community and being regional in some of the aspects of what you can deliver. It's fantastic. Okay, we're recording this podcast at the beginning of March 25. It feels 2 months have gone, but a good chunk of New Zealand feels like January should be a holiday anyway. It feels like things are ramping now. Do you have a theme or something you'd really like to encourage the members to focus on as they crank hard into this 2025 year?
I do, and I've been thinking about it from November to go, what does this 2025 look like and how do we frame this? And this is how I describe this. So we have faced strong headwinds, but now they're shifting to tailwinds. To make the most of it, we need to have our sails up and pointed in the right direction, so we can harness the wind of change and move forward with confidence. So that's kind of how I see it. So I think their tailwinds are coming, and we want our members to kind of think about how do they adjust their sails so they can take advantage of hopefully a growth which will come in. And I think what that means is we're not just building better and smarter. We also need to build better and smarter businesses. And we can do this by strengthening our financial management, by supporting our workforce, engagingly effectively with our customers, and being part of this master builder community where people are there to encourage, support, guide you so you can be as successful as you can be. So that's kind of what I think the theme of the year is not just building better and smarter, but building better and smarter businesses.
Yeah, I think it's such a good theme, some positivity, but also some reality of going to make the most of these tailwinds. You're going to have the business in good shape. So that's a nice balance of ideas. I love that, Ankit. Hey, thank you for the conversation today. I think there's been a really great update in there. Good to hear where master builders are focused and where you're leading the business. Any closing thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap today's episode?
No, I think, thank you for having me. I think I am hoping that this year will be a year where we will change from, I call it the bust cycle, into the boom cycle. And I hope that as we grow as a sector, as our members grow, we grow sustainably with the right fundamentals, with the right foundation. So it creates long-running, successful businesses. And everything I see points towards that things are heading in that direction. So hopefully this will be an exciting year for us.
Thank you, Ankit. And I would add to that, there are just so many incredible resources available in Master Builders, from the Elevate Learning platform. If you want to dive into more financials and how you run a more robust business, those things are available. We have incredible partners inside Master Builders across everything from legal to tax to accounting, right across the whole gambit. So I think the members can really embrace what Master Builders have to offer. It's not a case of us sitting on the podcast going, you should go and build yourself a better business. Actually, we've got a huge amount of resources to help you do that. You just need to ask for them. So thanks, Ankit. It's been a great chat, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thanks, Ryan.